I'm sensing that you're watching this video in your bed, under the blankets. It's late at night. You're relaxing. You've had a hard day at work, and you just want to chill out and watch some YouTube on your phone. I'm sensing maybe an iPhone. How'd I do? Guys, welcome back to the channel. Today our movie in the middle is Nightmare Alley. Nightmare Alley follows a down-on-his-luck man as he learns the ways of being a con artist and quickly rises to great fame swindling the rich, but with great costs. It stars Bradley Cooper, Toni Collette, Willem Dafoe, Cate Blanchett, Rooney Mara, Richard Jenkins, Ron Perlman, David Strathairn, and Mary Steenburgen. Man, these really big cast movies have been a big thing in the last year, haven't they? Guys, I finally got to watch Nightmare Alley. I was so disappointed when it came out and it was out for 2 weeks, and before I got to watch it, it left all the theaters except for 3 of them, and I couldn't get to them. So I just had to wait till it came out. And I guess February was the time for it to be out for free because it finally came out February 1st. So I finally got to watch it. I'll start off with the highs, and obviously the biggest one about this, because it's a Guillermo Del Toro film, is it is visually beautiful. The cinematography is one of the best I have seen of all of last year, and you know how much I have talked about the beauty of all the movies last year. It was so good. The lighting was amazing, the tone, the color scheme was amazing, everything put together, I loved it. And coordination with the production design and the costumes and the time period as well, it was so cool. The whole circus thing and the magic acts and everything that goes into that sort of scene, I guess, for movies is super cool. And so I was super excited for this movie because of that fact, honestly, that I had really no idea what it was about. Kind of like Last Night in Soho, where I loved the time period type deal that they were going for, and the aesthetic and the look was really cool. I just had no idea what it was about. The reason I have the Prestige up here is because there's this whole electric chair Tesla sort of thing going on, and obviously all the other magic in the circus as well. And so that whole tone was super cool. And even in the second half of the movie, where it's a little bit different, it still has this sort of rich, supernatural kind of feel, and it's just cool. It's very classy, and I loved it. There was also some really great ideas conceptually. There's something that, actually at the end, comes full circle, and I thought conceptually that was a really cool idea. And there's some other things in there as well that are honestly really interesting, because as much as con artists are probably going to hate it, they kind of give away how con artists do their thing for fortune telling. And I won't say what it is because it is pretty cool, and I won't be able to explain it too well, but it was something really cool that I actually didn't know. I mean, maybe it's common knowledge, but I don't know. I thought it was kind of cool. Unfortunately, that is about where the highs stop, because as awesome looking as this movie is and the cool time period and everything, it's just slow, and I don't want to say boring, but the characters are definitely pretty one-dimensional. They're pretty flat, and it kind of sucked because, especially considering it's about a circus, you'd think there'd be some really weird people and it'd be super cool. But no, they're pretty one-dimensional, including, unfortunately, Bradley Cooper's character, Stanton Carlisle. He at first seems to be this down on his luck, sort of mysterious guy with a past that we don't really know about. And we're what's going on? From minute one, we're what the heck is this guy doing? And as he comes into his own, he gets a little goofier. He starts to play around, which was a really cool side to see. And then for the rest of the movie, he's just a big asshole. That's it. And I won't say what we learn about his character from the past, but I'll say this, it's not much. It kind of sucked because he seemed to be a really cool guy, and it's they just didn't really know what to do with his character, and he's just kind of for most of it, which honestly reflects this entire movie. The entire movie, for as cool as it could have been, I left, well, I didn't leave, I was sitting at my house, so I left my couch feeling just it really, really falls flat. And I think that's due mostly to the fact that it doesn't say anything. There's like no point to this movie being made. Like obviously, yes, the point of like the entertainment factor and the intense moments and everything. I've always wondered like, does a movie always have to say something? But in this case, it said nothing at all, and I didn't feel like that was okay for this movie because it felt like it was trying to, and it just kind of felt like they had so much cool dialogue and all these really interesting themes that they were trying to throw in, and it just didn't amount to anything. It felt kind of nihilistic, to be honest with you, which I mean is fine in its own right, but for this movie it just felt like it was trying to say something and nothing really came of it. I left the movie feeling kind of hollow. That was a lot of flash, but I didn't really get anything from it or the characters. Like my mom said that it's like they had 12 ideas and they threw all of them in there instead of doing like 6 of them well. They were like, let's just do a little bit of all of these. And so it really makes a lot of characters feel pretty useless. A lot of subplots, a lot of little threads, even some symbols and things that should have been like have come back around, like they were given a lot of importance. Really, they do nothing except maybe be a symbol, specifically one at the end, and I have to look it up. I actually really don't know what it was supposed to mean. This seems to happen a lot, I've found with Guillermo del Toro movies, is that he has such a cool imagination, and his movies have really cool concepts when you go into them, but they just don't go anywhere. They're just super flat. And in this case, it sucks because it's like this movie's like kind of like two movies. It takes place in like two sort of different acts, and neither of them were that interesting. And it was like he had all the elements for it and then just didn't really deliver a whole lot, even though it felt like it should have. Like every time I was like, oh, we're ramping up to something now, like a half hour left out of this 2.5 hour movie, it still was like, oh, okay, that was it. And so that kind of bothers me, but that seems to happen a lot. I know with Shape of Water, I'm not a huge fan of the story, but again, I love all the visuals and everything about it actually stylistically, except for the story. And same thing here. And Pan's Labyrinth, I mean, it's still a great movie on its own, but she's not even in the labyrinth that much. And I was like, it just feels like he has so many cool ideas and then just doesn't really do anything with them. So overall, Nightmare Alley was a pretty big disappointment for me because, as you guys know, every year I do this, but I'm doing a lot of catch up from a couple of the movies I didn't see last year, and this was the one I was most excited for, to be honest with you. And sort of like Last Night in Soho, I was like, oh, this could go anywhere. I don't know what to expect from it. And then it just kind of let me down a little bit. I mean, this one way more so than Last Night in Soho, but it really kind of just bummed me out because I was super excited for it, and I thought I was going to get like some disturbed sort of feeling afterward because Toni Collette's in it and it's all this psychic stuff, and I was like, it's definitely going to be like Hereditary Part 2, and it's not. It's like barely The Prestige in terms of like disturbingness, like Prestige is way better. Even I would hazard to say the Imaginarium of Dr. Parnassus was way more interesting than this. So it was a cool concept, but not unlike a con artist's trick. For all the poetic dialogue it had and all the flashy visuals and everything, when you get down to it, it really came to nothing in terms of its actual quality. It wasn't anything. So hey, if that's what Guillermo del Toro was going for and being like, oh, the whole movie was like a con artist trick, great. Just wasted 2.5 hours of my life. One thing I will say before I give it the score is that while it wasn't great, it's still worth a watch. Definitely for the visuals. I say definitely watch it at least once, just because there are some pretty shocking moments and the visuals are stunning. But either way, whether it was good or not, one thing that did bother me is I love Marvel. I love Marvel, but I heard that people who got tickets for this movie were being asked to be refunded so that they could take away times from Nightmare Alley and give it to Spider-Man No Way Home, which already had like 3 times the amount of showings, at least in my theaters. And that's not okay. Like, how the hell are we going to have original ideas if we keep doing that? I love Spider-Man. You know that. I have a fucking Spider-Man suit. But what the hell? So definitely keep going out to those, I don't say smaller movies, but yeah, I mean, at this point, smaller movies with less runtime or running time in a theater, and the ones with the original ideas. Keep promoting those. I'm going to give Nightmare Alley a 1.5 out of 4. And it actually quite fit the definition of one of my awards that I haven't given out in a long time. And because of all of its visual flash and nothing underneath, Nightmare Alley gets the Fish Tank Award. One quick thing before I go, I want to mention to you guys beforehand, before I start all this, that I want to do something new, and I'm really excited about it. So basically, we're coming up to awards season, and I still watch the Oscars and everything. I mean, they didn't even put on the Golden Globes, so this year it doesn't really feel like there's a lot happening. And obviously, everybody is frustrated with the Oscars 24/7 about everything all the time. So what I want to do in the spirit of awards season, even though I will be doing some Oscar stuff, and probably reviewing all the Oscar-nominated Best Picture movies that I haven't seen yet, I want to do my own awards as well. I think it'd be really fun. I want to test it out to see how it goes. But basically, I think it'd be cool to have an award show that wasn't so, pretentious, I mean, because there's so many movies in the last ever that should have been nominated, but it's like, oh, well, it's a horror, or oh, it's a superhero movie, and it only got nominated if it was like stupidly good to the point where it was like, how do you not nominate it? So I think it'd be fun to do some award show like that, on the channel, where I put up nominations to the best of my ability on what I've seen and what I think should deserve this or that category. And then you guys, I'll give you the link, and then you vote on them. And then right before the Oscars or the week of, or whatever, like that, maybe the middle of that week, I'll go through and, we'll have like an award show. And I could do it live and have envelopes and everything. I think that'd be really fun. But the point is that I'd be also nominating stuff that's like more mainstream, like not just the pretentious, smaller stuff. Obviously, the Oscars have been a little bit better, I think, about nominating things like, they did like Joker. They've obviously done Black Panther, stuff like that. But, they were even then for their own specific reasons. And I just think that there's so many movies that are quality movies that deserve to be in not just best costume or visual effects, but also maybe best actor or best picture. So, I don't know what to call them yet, but I'm really excited to start thinking about this. I already have some nominations down for different categories. I have some new categories I think that would be really fun, like best title and stuff like that. So keep a lookout for that. I'm going to be putting up those nominations probably about the end of the month. And then there will be like 3 weeks where people can vote and everything. And then I will do the live awards. I think that'd be really fun. Let me know if you guys have any feedback for that, what you think, if you have any ideas on what should be nominated for what category, stuff like that. Because obviously, again, this is just me nominating based off of what I've gotten to see, which is a fair amount, but not everything. So I'm going to try my best. But yeah, so keep a lookout for that. I'm really excited for it. And as always, keep your hopes high, your stress low, and movies right in the middle. I'll see you guys later. Wait, don't leave. I'm sensing one more thing. I see a red button. A big red button, and it says subscribe. Something is telling me you should hit it.